We're leading the way with breaking news. Cincinnati's mayor and city manager are making an announcement regarding the city's response to violence.
So this is in the wake of multiple group attacks caught on camera in downtown Cincinnati. We want to listen in live at City Hall. You can see City Manager Cheryl Long is stepping up to the podium here shortly. They're getting everybody ready to go, situated before they speak. Again, we've talked about this for the last 2 to 3 weeks, the different attacks that have happened downtown that have caused a large response from different places trying to say, hey, we need to know what's going on here in order to stop this.
Yeah, we've seen so many of these videos continue to come out. Multiple young people, we presume, jumping people who are just on their phone or walking home, wherever they might be. So really terrifying situations that we hope that CPD, the mayor's office, the city manager's office, they're all going to be joining together. Doctors are going to be present speaking as well, hopefully to bring something together to get this to stop, get these young people to be doing the right things and just keep people safe who are just trying to enjoy their afternoons and evenings downtown.
Absolutely. So again, a couple of them have been caught on camera, but there had been additional attacks that were reported over the series of not even just the last couple of weeks, but going back even the last year. They don't know how many of them are connected, if at all. But again, this is all something to get a handle on, making sure that these younger people are being held accountable, but also keep our downtown area safe.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining us today. This is a very exciting event because we're here to discuss a new partnership that is first of its kind and so impactful. Since I have been appointed city manager, responding to and preventing violence has been my top priority. As all of us know, overall, violent crime is down in Cincinnati, but the specific types of crimes we're seeing are very concerning. Gun violence is a nationwide epidemic that we're not immune from locally. Disturbingly, we're seeing more kids involved in crime, both as perpetuators and as victims. I am surrounded behind me a whole host of people who are committed to helping us navigate these waters and find solutions to address violence. I'm very proud of Cincinnati Police Department under the leadership of Chief Thigi for their use of data and innovation when it comes to fighting crime. In a larger scope of public safety, I want to emphasize the impact of our non-police ARC team, which stands for Alternative Response to Crisis, which responds when there is a crisis that is better served by approachable, unharmed person who can intervene. And today we're here to talk about a new future for Cincinnati when it comes to preventing violence in the first place. Our first responders, our Emergency Communications Center team, and frankly, everyone in Cincinnati community is incredible at showing when something terrible has happened. But we aren't always be reactive. We can't always be reactive. We can't wait for heartbreaking things to happen before we come together and work as a team. The city has been focused heavily on youth violence since the Smale Park shooting that occurred in July of 2021. From there, and with community at the table, we began the problem-solving project, which has deployed throughout our city, and in some cases transformed into a pivot project. We were able to identify gaps through these problem-solving conversations, and the city is showing our continued commitment to filling this gap through this partnership. Since 2022, we have seen unprecedented increases in big challenges responding to issues with cars, from the theft of Hyundais and Kias to more life or death issues like people leaving loaded firearms in their vehicles, leading to them becoming stolen and used in crimes. I highlight the specific types of offenses we're looking at because crime has evolved. Just like everything else, there are new habits, new technologies, and new generations of people. So when crime evolves, our response to it has to evolve as well. We have aggressively, intelligently, and continuously addressed the many challenges in our city that lead to violence and interrupt the status quo before harm is committed. This is why we fund our partners addressing the root cause of violence and providing care for our youth through our Human Service Fund, Leverage Support Application process, which opened yesterday, our Safe and Clean grants, and our Boots on the Ground funding. Today's announcement will expand upon the community work that is already being done. Last summer, we issued an RFP for a $600,000 grant that will fund community-based violence intervention and prevention. And today, I'm joined by an incredible group of people to announce a new partnership with UC Health and Cincinnati's Children that will take an evidence-based and multidisciplinary approach to better understand and ultimately prevent violence through hospital-based violence prevention. Through its first-of-its-kind partnership with UC and Cincinnati Children's, we'll establish a working group of experts and practitioners to share resources and develop a trauma-informed approach to care. Additionally, the new hospital-based violence intervention program at both UC and Cincinnati Children's will create immediate, meaningful, impact, and consistent approach at our region's only adult and pediatric level 1 trauma centers. I am thrilled to announce the hiring of our new violence reduction manager in the Department of Human Services, Mr. D'Angelo Rosa Harris. D'Angelo's first day is next Monday, the 19th. He comes to us from Philadelphia with an incredible depth of experience building community-based solutions. D'Angelo will be coordinator and collaborator between the wide array of partners who come together to do this work, including the police department, the city administration, our elected officials standing behind me. I will pivot because I did not announce them in the beginning. My apologies. Vice Mayor Kearney, Councilwoman Albee, our amazing mayor. We have our violence reduction manager, Iris Rowley. Collaborative, yes, thank you. You will be hearing from my children's team, Councilmember Johnson. We have Lieutenant Colonel Robinson, Councilwoman Owens, Councilmember Jeffries, Walsh, Councilmember Walsh, and Councilmember Cramerdine. Sorry. There's a lot to discuss and work for them and I to do ahead of us, so I want to invite our other speakers to come as well. But before I pass the mic, I want to hover on how personal this is to me. The city manager is the CEO of the city, and like a lot of bosses, I've learned how to manage the responsibility that comes with overseeing such a large organization. But I will never be able to manage the heartbreak, the speechlessness, and the anger that follow deadly and violent events. As a leader, I'm motivated to work twice as hard to make sure these things don't happen again. But as a human being, I feel helpless. We all do. These things make us feel small and defeated. We wonder if anything will ever change. Today, as city manager, I want to say, yes, they will. We are creating that change right now. We are teaming up, we're thinking outside the box, we're problem solving, and we're turning our words into action. Let me now turn it over to someone who has been on the front lines of the fight for years. She is both a passionate expert and a selfless, tireless public servant who shows up every single time. Please welcome Assistant City Manager, Virginia Talent.
Thank you, City Manager Long. 1 year ago, our city made a resolute declaration, led by Mayor Puraval and our City Council, that gun violence is a public health crisis that demands action. This declaration ignited a transformative journey for our city, one that places health and racial equity at the center and the forefront of our response to violence. And today, as City Manager Long referenced, we stand here to mark a significant milestone in that journey. In summer 2023, we set out on a mission to find a partner who could bring innovative, community-centered strategies to our fight against violence. We sought partners who could reach those the most affected by violence, engage them with trusted voices, and connect them to the support that they need to ultimately heal and thrive. Today, we proudly announce the culmination of that search and a leap forward in the city's public health response to violence. I want to extend my heartfelt gratitude to City Manager Long for her unwavering leadership and support on this issue, Chief Teresa Thigi, City Consultant Iris Rowley, and Mayor Aftab's Chief of Staff, Kizela Fambro, for their unwavering dedication to our mission and their work in support of this process. As City Manager Long highlighted, we are thrilled to unveil our partnership with UC Health and Cincinnati Children's, a groundbreaking collaboration that establishes the nation's first joint pediatric and adult hospital violence intervention program. This program is not just about treating physical injuries. It's about addressing the complex web of factors that perpetuate violence, and it's about meeting people where they're at and centering community. Each year, hundreds of individuals, children and adults alike in our city, arrive at our hospitals with the physical scars of violence, and we refuse to continue to meet them with just bandages. Instead, the city is committed to meet them with compassion, understanding, and a commitment to breaking the cycle of trauma. Leading this charge are two extraordinary medical professionals, Dr. Amy Makeley and Dr. Mira Kodagal, whose expertise and passion for health equity make them invaluable partners in the city's mission. Dr. Amy Makeley is an associate professor of surgery at the University of Cincinnati Medical Center. Dr. Makeley completed her residency training in general surgery at the University of Cincinnati and additional fellowship training in surgical critical care from the University of Pennsylvania. Dr. Makeley is a trauma surgeon and currently leads the area's only Level 1 trauma center at the University of Cincinnati Medical Center as its trauma medical director. Her dedication to providing comprehensive care to our community's most injured patients has been unwavering, and her expertise will be instrumental in guiding our efforts in this partnership. Dr. Mira Kodagal is a graduate of Harvard University Medical School, and she also holds a master's degree in public health from Harvard School of Public Health. Dr. Kodagal currently serves as a pediatric surgeon and director of trauma services for Cincinnati Children's. She also serves as an associate professor of surgery at the University of Cincinnati. Her research prioritizes health equity and the social determinants of health and injury. Dr. Kodagal's commitment to addressing the root causes of violence in our community aligns perfectly with the city's mission, and her insights will be invaluable as we work to create a safer and healthier Cincinnati for all. It is my sincere honor to invite Dr. Makeley to share more about our program's vision and approach, followed by Dr. Kodagal. Dr. Makeley, the podium is yours.
Thank you. I'm here today not only as a healthcare professional, but also a concerned member of our community. Several years ago, gun violence was declared a public health crisis in Cincinnati. I'm very proud to stand alongside our government, public health, and community partners to launch a new collaborative initiative to help combat this epidemic. In my role as a trauma surgeon and as the trauma medical director at UC Health, I've witnessed firsthand the devastating impact that gun violence inflicts on patients, on their families, and on the community. Our adult Level 1 trauma center at the University of Cincinnati Medical Center and our pediatric counterpart at Cincinnati Children's Hospital Medical Center, our two institutions care for the majority of victims of gun violence in Cincinnati. And we are very proud to provide state-of-the-art medical care for the gunshot injuries that patients sustain. But we as institutions have not done enough to address the long-lasting mental and psychological trauma that gun violence inflicts. We recognize that treating the physical injuries from trauma is just one piece of the needed healing process, and we need to do more. The statistics themselves speak volumes. Our two hospitals alone care for over 500 victims of gun violence each year in Cincinnati. Gun violence affects all ages, but disproportionately many of our patients are young, healthy adults, teenagers, children, and they have a high proportion that are young Black males. Research reveals that re-injury rates are soaring as high as 45%, highlighting the urgent need for comprehensive support beyond the initial treatment of gunshot injuries. And victims of gun violence, including here in Cincinnati, experience high rates of mental health disease and post-traumatic stress disorder that extend years beyond the initial injuries, indicating enduring psychological trauma that occurs after each episode of gun violence. But these numbers are not just statistics. We see each of these individual patients in our hospitals, and we all witness firsthand the destruction that gun violence inflicts on our community. With each patient that presents as a victim of gun violence, we're reminded that this is not just a public health crisis, it is a call to action. Together, in partnership with Cincinnati Children's Hospital Medical Center, we're launching a hospital-based violence intervention program that will combine the necessary physical treatment of injuries with wraparound services to treat the comprehensive needs of surviving victims and their families. Care is not just about treating wounds, it's about healing souls, breaking the cycle of violence, and forging a path to peace. Evidence does support that hospital-based violence intervention programs that can connect patients at the point of injury with comprehensive wraparound services address the needs of patients and their families. These programs result in a reduction in re-injury and a reduction in incarceration rates. This program will engage our gun violence victims throughout their recovery, providing not only medical treatment but also crucial mental health support, substance abuse intervention, and access to vital community resources. And by addressing the root causes of violence and offering comprehensive assistance, we aim to break the cycle of trauma and violent injury. We thank the city, including City Council, the Mayor's Office, the Vice Mayor's Office, City Manager Long, and Assistant City Manager Talent, and my counterpart at Cincinnati Children's Hospital, Dr. Mir Kodagal, for their leadership in supporting this program. And we look forward to working collaboratively with all of our partners across the city. Together, with unwavering determination and collective compassion, we can create a healthier, safer future for every member in Cincinnati. With that, I'd like to turn the podium over to my partner in this, Dr. Kodagal, for additional remarks. Thank you.
Good morning. We are deeply grateful to the mayor, to City Council, to City Manager Long, and to Assistant City Manager Talent for their commitment to serving Cincinnati's families and for their belief in the partnership between UCMC and Cincinnati Children's. In 2020, firearm-related injuries surpassed motor vehicle crashes as the most common cause of death for children in the United States. This is a uniquely American problem, one with significant short and long-term impacts for children, families, and communities. Like many around the country, Cincinnati has seen this trend materialize, particularly with the rise in children as victims of gun violence. As a pediatric trauma surgeon, this is a stark reality that I face in the trauma bay when we try to save lives, and in consultation rooms when I have to break the hearts of families whose children may not have survived. These events are deeply troubling and capture the attention of many when they come across the evening news. However, the discussion is often short-lived, while these impacts of the injuries are not. Children, families, and communities bear these scars, both physical and mental, of this trauma. While we are very proud of the work that we do as the city's Level 1 Pediatric Trauma Center to care for children and to save lives, we also know that treating physical injuries alone is not enough. Much of the care that children need comes long after they are discharged from the hospital, especially in the form of mental health support for children, for their siblings, and for their families. This work has long been shouldered by a myriad of community organizations and community leaders across this city. We are excited today to join with our adult counterparts at UC Medical Center to embark on what we hope will be a rich partnership between our organizations, with the patients and communities that we serve, and with the CBOs across the city. Over the coming months, together our teams at UC and Cincinnati Children's will build a hospital-based violence intervention program, allowing us to identify and connect with victims of gun violence from the moment they enter the doors of our hospitals, to assess their needs, and to work comprehensively to provide the wraparound services that they need, not just to heal, but to thrive. We recognize that gun violence is a complex, dynamic problem, and that no one single solution or intervention will serve as a cure-all. But the creation of this program is a key step to serve our patients long after they leave the hospital and their acute injuries have healed. And we believe that these interventions can reduce long-term trauma for patients and their families and reduce rates of re-injury and violence. We strive to listen deeply as we embark on this effort and to work continually to improve and to grow this work. We seek to elevate the lived experience of many across our city who are survivors of violence. And we hope to build on the many strengths and the resilience of patients and their families and communities to contribute to thriving communities across the city. I am deeply grateful to partner with Dr. Makeley and her team from UC to build this program, and again share my deep thanks to the city for supporting this endeavor and the work of supporting families and communities across Cincinnati. Thank you. And now I'd like to invite Mayor Aftab Pureval to say a few words.
Thank you, City Manager Long. First of all, I want to express my deep appreciation for UC Health and Cincinnati Children's for stepping up to partner with us on such a foundational and vital challenge. Thank you guys so much for your leadership. Gun violence has tragically and unacceptably afflicted far too many of our families, far too many specifically of our children. And we have witnessed the devastation, the fear that it creates in entire communities. Safety is our first, second, and third priority here at City Hall. It is our core responsibility to the folks who make up our city, and our administration, our police, our human services team, and the exceptional community partners around our city have all worked day in and day out with that responsibility front and center. I'm exceptionally proud of City Manager Long, ACM Talent, and our entire administration's commitment to not just ensuring the resources are there, but to keep residents safe by approaching this in a holistic, data-informed, community-led way. The RFP is an extension of that, and the kind of impact it can make is at the heart of our community and problem-solving goals in the collaborative agreement. Through UC Health and Cincinnati Children's Partnership, we have the opportunity to leverage the only Level 1 trauma center in our region to further innovate, to further connect the prevention resources in our community, and to build on outreach strategies that can save lives. Like so many challenges in our city, we simply cannot do this on our own, but we will be here every step of the way, supporting our partners, protecting residents, and doing whatever it takes to ensure the safety of all Cincinnatians. Thank you so much.
Do we have any questions?
Is there a pilot done at some point? I thought there was a smaller program done at one of the hospitals.
So in the past, there was a program called Out of the Crossfire, and it was held out of University of Cincinnati, and it was successful. In fact, Mrs. Rowley, did you want to say more? I know you were directly involved.
That's a great question. Yeah, it was Out of the Crossfire, led by Dr. Jennifer Williams. But this program that you're hearing today is Out of the Crossfire 10.0. We needed to get back to that particular model. Out of the Crossfire taught us a lot of things that we needed to know about gunshot victims and perpetrators.
Is this the $600,000 that was up for grabs? It's going to these two hospitals?
Press conference right now
Correct.
between city leaders, UC Health, and also Children's Hospital, a new agreement to hopefully bring an end to the violence, specifically targeting the youth that are committing some of these acts of violence.
They're calling it the Hospital Violence Intervention Project, and they're, again, as Stephen mentioned, joining with UC Health and Cincinnati Children's. You heard from some of the doctors who work at Cincinnati Children's Hospital and UC Health about what they have seen come through their doors. So they say it's not just about treating physical injuries. It's obviously about much more than that and stopping the cycle.
Yeah, they talk about the public health crisis of guns, and this is really a call to action to hopefully get this turned around so we can keep people safe and keep our youth on the right track. So we're going to wrap it up here. Kelly and I are back at noon. We'll have more from this press conference and more updates on stories happening around our area.